Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's story is about a James who struggled to feed his family. This story is about a small village nestled among the mountains. The winters here were very harsh. In this village lived James with his wife Nia and their son Oliver. James was extremely poor. He used to collect dry wood from the forest outside the village and sell it in the village market to earn money. It was with this money that he managed his household expenses. James was so poor that whatever money he earned by selling the wood would be entirely spent on his son's education and daily essentials like vegetables, leaving no scope for savings. Generally, James could sell only a small amount of wood on regular days, but the winter season was the one time he could earn a bit more by selling wood. James's wife Nia managed the household, while their son Oliver was very good at studies. However, due to poverty, their life was quite difficult. Gradually, the cold in the village began to intensify. The chill became so severe that the villagers started stepping out of their homes very rarely. The cold persisted throughout the day, but at night it reached its peak. The icy winds at night were so harsh that no one in the village could manage without lighting a fire for warmth. The entire village depended on the firewood available in the market, which could only be brought from the forest. However, the forest was far from the village, and collecting wood from there was no easy task. Meanwhile, at James's house, he lit the firewood to keep warm and started talking to his wife, Nia. "Nia, I've been thinking about something," James said. "What is it you're thinking about?" Nia asked. "Nia, you can see for yourself how extremely cold it is this year in the village. I believe this is a golden opportunity to earn some extra money," James said confidently. "I'm thinking of going to the forest this time to collect a large amount of dry wood and sell it. This way, we'll be able to earn a good amount of money. The cold is so intense that I'm sure all the wood will sell instantly. This time, I'll save some of the money I earn for Oliver's further education so that we don't have to worry about his studies in the future," James said thoughtfully. Nia, concerned, replied, "But the cold this year is harsher than usual. How will you manage to go to the forest in such freezing weather? What if you fall ill? Instead of earning money, you might end up getting sick." "Don't worry about me, Nia," James assured her. "Nothing will happen to me. This is a great opportunity to earn a lot of money. Who knows if we'll get another chance like this?" "All right, do as you think is right, but please take care of yourself," Nia said reluctantly. The next morning, as the first rays of sunlight touched the village, James set off toward the forest to collect wood. The cold winds were blowing fiercely along the way, but James kept walking without any hesitation. After walking for some time, he finally reached the forest. "Now that I'm here, I'll quickly start gathering firewood," James thought to himself. Despite the intense cold, James began collecting the wood. After a while, he gathered a large amount of wood. "All right, now that I've collected enough wood, I'll take it to the market and sell it quickly," he decided. With that, James loaded all the gathered wood and set off for the village market to sell it. After walking for some time, he reached the village market and began selling the wood. To his delight, within no time, all the firewood was sold. James made a good profit from selling the wood. "Today, I made a really good profit. Let me go show Nia the earnings," James thought happily. A little while later, he reached home and called out to his wife. "Hey, Nia, come here for a moment," James called. However, Nia didn't come, but his son Oliver came running instead. "Oliver, where is your mother?" "Can you go and bring her here?" James asked. "Father, Mom is in the kitchen, lighting the firewood," Oliver replied. "Wait, I'll call her." "No, son, it's all right. Let your mother finish what she's doing. She will come after a while," James said. A few moments later, Oliver asked, "What happened, Father? You seem very happy. Is there something special?" "No, son, there's nothing special. It's just that I made a good profit from selling firewood today, James explained. What? You mean you went out in this cold to sell firewood? Didn't you feel cold? Oliver asked in surprise. Yes, son, it was freezing. But this is the only season when we can earn something by selling firewood. Otherwise, on regular days, just gathering money for the household expenses becomes difficult, James replied. This time, I've decided to work even harder so that I can save some extra money for your further education. That way, we won't have to ask anyone for money for your studies, James said to his son. But father, you're working in this cold for my education. I can't bear to see you doing this, Oliver replied. Starting tomorrow, I'll come with you to the forest to gather firewood. No, son, you don't need to come with me, James gently refused. Look, son, I didn't get the chance to study, so I have to do this work. But I don't want you to have to do the same. I want you to study well and become a big officer. While James and Oliver were having this conversation, Nia came in. Oh, you're back. Wait, I'll go bring some firewood for the stove, she said. And she went to the kitchen to collect the firewood. Nia brought the firewood and lit it in the room. Both husband and wife sat on the bed, relaxing and chatting, while Oliver went to his room to study. Nia, you won't believe it. The firewood I took to the market today sold out in just a few minutes. I made a really good profit from it. If my firewood continues to sell like this, we'll have a lot of money. And with that money, I could start a new business for the whole year, James said excitedly. Yes, you're right. But the cold season has just begun. If it's this cold now, just imagine how much colder it will get in the coming months, Nia replied with concern. Nia, nothing can stop me now, James said confidently. I just need to keep selling firewood for these few months and earn a lot of money, so I can give Oliver a great future. All right, but please take care of your health. If you catch a cold, it might end up causing more trouble, Nia warned. The next morning, James set off again to collect firewood from the forest. As he walked, he reached the outskirts of the village, but today, the cold felt even worse than before. Oh my God, today it's even colder than yesterday, James muttered to himself. Well, I'm already out of the village, so I can't go back now. I'll gather the firewood somehow and head back home. From tomorrow, I'll take matchstick with me, so I can light a small fire while gathering the wood to keep myself warm. James continued his journey towards the forest, and once he arrived, he began collecting wood again. In a short time, he had gathered a good amount of firewood. All right, I've gathered enough for today. Now, I'll quickly sell it and head home because it's extremely cold today. James reached the market, and, just like the previous day, his firewood sold out very quickly. He made good money from the sale and headed back home. For a few more days, this routine continued, with James collecting wood from the forest and selling it in the market, earning a lot of money. However, the cold weather was reaching its peak. The fog was so thick during the day that people had stopped leaving their homes. Even during the daytime, it was as cold as night. One morning, James was about to leave for the forest to collect firewood, but before leaving, he thought of informing Nia. This year, the cold has reached its peak. Today, I will bring as much wood as I can from the forest and sell it, so that for the next 2 or 3 days, I won't have to go outside. But before leaving, I should tell Nia, because if I get delayed in gathering wood, she will be worried about me, James thought. Nia, can you come here for a moment? James called out. Hearing James's voice, Nia came over. What happened, dear? You called me? Yes, Nia. I'm going to the forest to collect firewood, and I thought I should tell you before I leave, James said. What? You're going to the forest in this freezing cold? Have you lost your mind? Just step outside the house and see how cold it is. Nobody is even stepping out of their homes because of the cold. If the cold wasn't so severe, people wouldn't even think twice about going to gather firewood, Nia said with concern. Yes, Nia, I also feel that the cold has become unbearable. But today, I will gather as much firewood as I can from the forest, so that for the next 2 or 3 days, I won't have to go outside. From now on, I'll also start selling the wood directly from home instead of going to the market, so I can bring the firewood directly home without stopping at the market. This will be much better, James explained. That's fine, but it's very cold, dear. Please take care of yourself, Nia warned. Don't worry about me, Nia. I will light some firewood while gathering it, so I can keep myself warm as I work, James assured her. With that, James set off toward the forest, determined to collect the larger amount of wood. He was so focused on gathering wood that he spent a long time collecting it. By the time James had gathered enough wood, it was evening, and along with the cold, strong wind started blowing. The wind grew stronger, and the firewood that James had lit earlier was blown out. Seeing the flames go out, James became worried. Ah, the winds are picking up, and the firewood I had lit is now out, he muttered to himself. James realized that he needed to quickly head home with the firewood. He lifted all the collected wood onto his head and began walking toward his house. But this time he had gathered so much wood that he had to walk very slowly. After a while, James finally reached home. However, because he had spent too much time gathering firewood in the cold, he was feeling unwell. You're home! You took a little extra time today, Nia said as James entered. Yes, Nia. I told you that I would gather firewood for 2 or 3 days, and it took me longer to collect it, James replied. Due to spending too much time in the cold, James's health was affected, and he felt exhausted. Nia, I'm feeling very tired today, so I'm going to lie down, he said. Why don't you eat something before going to bed? Nia suggested. No, Nia, I'm really tired today. I'll rest for a while and eat later, James replied, and then he covered himself with a blanket and lay down. After some time, when Nia came to wake him up, she found that James was burning with fever. She immediately called out to Oliver. Oliver, come quickly, Nia called out loudly. Hearing her call, Oliver rushed over to her. What happened, Mom? Why did you call me so loudly? Is something wrong? Oliver asked, seeing the worry on Nia's face. Nia, clearly anxious, replied, Son, your father's body is burning with fever. Quickly go and call the village doctor. But Mom, how did Dad suddenly get a fever? He was perfectly fine yesterday. What happened today? Oliver asked, confused. Son, your father went to the forest today to collect firewood. He spent the whole day gathering wood, and I think he must have caught a cold from the harsh cold weather, Nia explained. What? Dad went to the forest in this terrible cold? Why didn't you stop him? Oliver asked, shocked. I tried to stop him, but he insisted, saying that if he gathered firewood for 2 or 3 days today, he wouldn't need to go out for the next few days. So, I let him go, Nia explained. Mom, it seems that staying out in the cold all day must have made Dad sick. Please take care of him. I'm going to get Dr. Uncle right away, Oliver said, worried. Without wasting any time, Oliver rushed out to get the doctor. The cold outside was so intense that it was almost unbearable, but Oliver didn't care about the cold. He hurried towards Doctor's clinic. Soon, Oliver arrived at Doctor's clinic and said urgently, Dr. Uncle, please, hurry. My father is very sick. His whole body is burning with fever. Why, Oliver? What happened? Why has your father's health deteriorated so badly? Doctor asked, surprised. Oliver quickly explained everything, and hearing this, the doctor became very angry. After examining James, Doctor diagnosed that the cold had affected James's health, and he needed rest. He has a fever from the cold, and his body has weakened. He needs to rest for a few days, doctor explained. Nia, I know you tried to stop him, but he insisted on collecting firewood. He'll recover after a few days of rest. Please make sure he stays inside and doesn't go out in this cold again, doctor advised. Over the next few days, Nia and Oliver took care of James. He slowly started to recover and realized that his health was more important than earning money. I was so focused on earning money for Oliver's education that I neglected my health, James said emotionally. But now I realize that if I'm not healthy, I won't be able to do anything for you, Oliver. Oliver reassured him, Dad, you don't need to worry about my education. I care more about your health than anything else. The next morning, Doctor came again to check on James. I'm glad to see you're feeling better, Doctor said. But remember, you can't earn money if you're not healthy. You need to stay healthy to take care of your family. James promised that he would no longer risk his health for money and decided to work with the other villagers to gather firewood collectively. This way, no one would have to go out alone in the cold. The villagers, with James's leadership, started collecting firewood together, and soon every household had enough. This collective effort eased the burden on each person and changed the lives of the entire village. James's son, Oliver, learned that when people come together during tough times, even the biggest challenges can be overcome. As the cold weather passed, James used the savings he had made to invest in Oliver's education and became a symbol of hope for the village. What was once a challenge, surviving the cold, had turned into an opportunity through his hard work and wisdom. Thank you for watching this heartwarming story. Remember, challenges are a part of life, but with determination, unity, and a little wisdom, any obstacle can be turned into an opportunity. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and comment your thoughts below. See you in the next video.